Hey VC, it's Steve Darr. Record Teeb on the YouTube channel. This is my intro video. How's everybody in the VC doing this evening? Sunday afternoon, about 6 o'clock. I had kind of a lazy day. Very nice outside. Sunny right now, but cold. Finally got a little winter weather here. Yeah, I've been hanging around the VC primarily on Facebook for quite some time now, and I felt like I was past due to do an intro video. So, having some equipment problems, was trying to do this with my Canon, but thought I'd try it with the iPhone instead. My story. I was inspired by Jeff Klukowski, I think is the name, and a video that I watched just the other day, where he kind of went back and talked about how he got into collecting vinyl. My story's similar in that we were about the same age when I first started to buy records. I was invited to tour, if you will, the bedroom of a kid who lived across the street from me when I was growing up. This would have been back about probably 63, 64 probably. And Eddie, the guy whose bedroom that I went into as a second grader, he was in high school. And I noticed he had a few things that I didn't have. He had trophies, because he was really a sport. Letterman and the local high school football team. He had car models, 1/32 scale car models, and he had records, including this record right here. And I remember seeing this in Eddie's room and thinking, car models, probably not me, trophies, not me either. But I think I'm going to try buying some records, and I did. I went out and bought this record. When I Grow Up to Be a Man. One of the first records I ever purchased with my own money, and I still have it. Kind of a prophetic tagline in that song. Will I dig the same things that turned me on as a kid? Well, I guess so, because here I am 50 years later and I still collect records. My family had a stereo at that point in time, a console stereo. Probably not the only person in the VC whose parents had that type of equipment. And playing the record player was something my mom and dad would do, but as I acquired records, they would set them up for me and play them, and most of them had automatic changers at that point in time. So I played my records there until I got my own record player, and later my first stereo. But as I began to explore records, one of the first ones that I bought was this record. Beach Boys, All Summer Long. Love this record. Played that a lot when I was a kid. And still really enjoy it to this day. Also bought other records from the surf genre. Things like Jan and Dean, Little Old Lady from Pasadena. My father purchased my first Beatles album for me. Songs, Pictures, and Stories. Yeah, this record on the VJ label. As the Beatles albums came out and they were available domestically in the U.S. On Capitol, I would acquire those as the years ticked by, ask for them as birthday presents or Christmas presents. So it was easy for my grandparents and relatives or whoever was buying for me to buy, because they knew I would make a list of the Beatles albums that I didn't own, and that was the basis for a lot of my Christmas, which was great because I liked getting them that way. Moving through the 60s, continued to buy records. My dad was transferred from Tulsa, Oklahoma to St. Louis, Missouri in the late 60s rather, and up there kind of opened my ears up to a whole new way of listening to music, and what I mean by that is we heard our first FM stereo rock station called KSHE, KSHE 94.7, I think they call it 95, KSHE 95. And they were playing underground music. It was a freeform station, very early freeform station. I believe they signed on in 1968, We moved there in January '68. My brother immediately gravitated to that. I was still listening to Top 40 and buying singles, Creedence Clearwater Revival, that type of thing. But little by little, that influence that my brother had on me really kind of took hold, and it inspired our collecting. A lot of psych music, a lot of things that became popular primarily because of KSHE and the St. Louis metro area, but maybe not throughout the rest of the country. Moved back to Tulsa in '72 and got my first paying job, continued to buy records. Every time I'd get paid, I'd head to the local record store, buy some more records. This continued through the '70s. Got my first job on the fringe of the music biz in that I went to work hanging posters, concert posters, for a local promoter in Tulsa, and I acquired and still have lots of concert posters. This guy named Larry Schaefer owned the Cain's Ballroom in Tulsa, and he also, his production company, Little Wing Productions, did bigger shows, arena-type shows around town, and I hung posters for him for a period of about 7 years, something like that, and have a pretty extensive collection of posters in addition to vinyl. As a matter of fact, you can see some of that stuff as time goes by. I continue to collect posters, love autographed items, like to get things signed, have them framed up, and they hang all over my house. In the early '90s, started selling records at record shows. There was a promoter that used to do a series of shows in this region: Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Wichita, Dallas, and we also did shows in Little Rock, Springfield, St. Louis, primarily here in the middle of the country. My brother was a partner in that through the '90s. I bought his stuff out, or his interest in our for sale records, in the early 2000s, and I continued to do that as long as there were shows to go to, but at the present time, haven't done a show in a number of years, although I still have a couple thousand records for sale. At the point in time that we started doing the shows, I still bought some stuff retail, but for the most part, I was purchasing used records at flea markets, garage sales, and the collection continued to grow, but became very much more defined, more towards psych and progressive stuff, filling in a lot of blanks in British music, which was always a soft spot for me, that and German records, and continue to buy that stuff to this day. Let's see, I guess as kind of a wrap-up, I just want to say that I've really enjoyed my time in the VC thus far. I have been hesitating to do this intro video. Again, some technical issues. Hopefully this will work out okay and I can upload this. And we'll continue to make videos from here. I appreciate your time and watching, and would appreciate any feedback that you guys might give me. And I won't start off on the shout-outs now, but for a lot of the longer-term VC members, I really have learned a lot watching your videos and the posts on Facebook, and I really enjoy this. Probably the most fun I've had with records since I started collecting, quite frankly. I have a lot of friends that buy, sell, and trade records and collect records, but it's really nice to know there's a place at the end of the day that I can log into the YouTube vinyl community, and I know there are going to be people who are showing records and frankly, educating me about all the things I don't know, which is a lot. One other thing I want to mention, and that's Mo playing in the background. It's actually the tour shirt from that tour. And the name of this CD is called Dither. Mo's one of my favorite bands. Great dual lead guitar. Jam band out of upstate New York. Great guys. Never a disappointing show. Seen them close to 50 times now. and I'm nowhere near done. So, thanks again for your time. I appreciate it. Any feedback you want to give me will also be appreciated. Have a good week, VC.